What's up, y'all? Started this build with a $300 iron 6-liter block. Pretty rusty, so I sent that off to the machine shop. Got it bored, got the heads, got new valves in them. While it was off at the machine shop, went and tore the LS1 out the car. Everything came out good. We cleaned everything up, got the K-member cleaned up, and then we started to build it from there. Got the flex fuel system all ran, got the Chris 1313 dual 450 pumps put in the car. All the lines ran, and about that time the motor came back from the machine shop. Painted it, got the head studs on it. Got the block back from Honeycut today. Got it unloaded, been messing with it a little bit. I've finished putting the Tickperformance cam in it. I got their turbo stage 2 cam, cam motion sprocket set, milling high pressure, high volume oil pump. Block's been decked, bored 30 over, forged pistons, rods, factory crank. Yeah, DOD delete. It should be pretty stout little setup here. All right, so got this thing about wrapped up. Got a good bit of the accessories on. I'm waiting on the drill and tap to come so I can tap this hole. The 6.0 blocks don't have the same mounting points for the alternator, so you have to mark the center of that, drill, tap, and then it'll work just fine. So I'm just waiting on the drill to come later today, the bit and tap. Got the AC compressor on that bracket, got my catch can, water pumps on there, crank pulleys on there, ARP bolt. So I got it pretty much knocked out. A lot of the sensors are on there. I'm waiting on a new oil pan to come. It should be here tomorrow. And then, but so I've made a couple mistakes along the way though. The first one was I put the heads on backwards, which I had no idea that was a thing. So I just kind of threw the heads on here. I didn't look at which one was which, but the only difference that I can tell is the steam port. So the steam port is on these 243 heads were sealed up in the rear and open in the front. So it just had the steam port on the front and the rears were sealed. But putting the heads on backwards, that left it where the fronts were sealed and the backs were open. And apparently the engine tilts just a little bit to allow the steam to go to the front. The backs aren't 100% necessary, but the fronts are necessary. That's where the steam will release out of the system. So now I was stuck with having the back port sealed, or the front port sealed and the back one's open. So this morning I was able to get a little tiny drill bit and mark a hole in the top of the plug that was on here. And whenever I did that, I was able to actually screw a self-tapping screw into it. And then I got a flathead under that and pried it up, and it was able to pop that up with no damage. So I got a 4-port steam port kit coming from Motion Raceworks. So I'll have all that hooked up as well. Another mistake I made was not cleaning the threads in the rear cover that the oil pan bolts up to. So I didn't clean those threads out. I started going in there, got to the bottom, started getting a little tight, and then it snapped. And so it ended up snapping the bolt off in the top of the bottom of the cover, which luckily had another cover sitting there anyways, so it wasn't that big of an issue. But it did also at the same time crack one of the corners of the oil pan I guess I just had it too tight or something like that. So there's a crack along here somewhere. So I'm just gonna get a new oil pan and solve that problem right there. But after that, it's pretty much just getting all the sensors tightened up and then setting it onto the subframe, and then I'll be able to mount the flywheel, clutch, strap the transmission back up to it, slide it up under the car, set the car down on it, and then it'll be, yeah, going from there, figuring out this Holley setup. I've already kind of got the wires ran. I've got the Holley inside the glove box, so it'll be just figuring out, which should be just simple plug and play. Get all that ran, hook the fuel up, and yeah, it shouldn't be too far gone from having this thing back up and running. Strap the whole turbo kit on it while it's outside of the car. Yeah, and then just set the car down on a ready to roll motor. Cool. All right, day 2 of mistakes were made. So I got this thing pretty much put all together. Still waiting on the oil pan, but I had got everything put together up front. Then I kind of started questioning some of my decisions on the tensioner. So my time and chain kit didn't come with a chain tensioner, so I reused the style that was on the motor, which was like a VVT motor, and it came with like this style tensioner. It has like guides on it. They fell off right now, but so I had put this type of tensioner on it, and then after reading online, talking to a couple people, that is not the that's not the best plan in high horsepower motors. They can fall apart, so I took everything back apart again. And so doing that, I took all the, water pump front cover off, crank pulley back off, which I had already put all the way back on with the ARP bolt, already had it torqued down. And then timing cover, oil pump, oil pickup, took the timing chain off, took the tensioner off, timing chain back on, put it all back together, and put the crank pulley bolt in. So whenever I put it together the first time, I was able to put I have like a old ARP crank pulley bolt, put that in there, get my breaker bar and just kind of work it in slowly. And so I did that, and it was feeling good. And then I got probably 2 or 3 threads in, and my dumbass decided to hit it with the impact one time just to speed the process up a little bit. And so I did, like, as soon as I hit it, it didn't spin hardly at all. So I was like, well, let me see, maybe the gun's dead, or I was using a shiny socket, no weight behind it or anything like that. So I figured maybe it just was the impact wasn't good. So I hit it with the breaker bar again, and it was like lock solid. So tried to go the other way, not happening. It just was locked completely in place. So I left it alone yesterday, said I'll figure it out tomorrow. Came out here this morning and got me my freaking torque wrench, found a good way to jam it in here, holding the crank up against the freaking block, which was scary in itself. And got my breaker bar here with, what do I have? Probably, I had 7, 8, or I guess 6 foot of extension. Couldn't get it to budge at first, and then sat out here with the propane torch and literally set a timer for 15 minutes and torched the head of the bolt till it literally change colors, and then yeah, then put everything I had. I was lifting the whole engine stand up. My back's killing me. I feel like I definitely was not using my knees as like I should have been, and I was using my back, and finally it started to come loose a little bit, and then it came out, and I was left with that. So major mistake there. Don't ever use your impact to do anything on this. Hand tools only. Yeah, that's not you can see, let me get it to, you can see where it pulled, because I was using it to try to pull the pulley onto the shaft, where you're supposed to use a pulley installer tool, which threads in there and actually pulls it in there like it's supposed to. When I did this, I only had 2 or 3 threads of engagement. I'm over here trying to tighten it. It's trying its hardest to push this pulley on, but the only thing that's holding it is these 2 or 3 threads. And so as it pushes in deeper, it's just pulling those threads out harder and harder and harder, until one of them probably broke or jammed up, and then it was stuck. And so whenever it finally came out, yeah, that's what's left. Something in there is left, I'm sure. I've got a thread chaser, I've got a tap coming. I'm gonna try to save this, because that is the worst case scenario, is that I can't, I've got a new ARP bolt, but if I can't get something threaded in here, then the crank has to be replaced. And that is worst case scenario here at this point in the stage, where that was like my last bolt. But yep, that's mistakes were made, part 2. All right, got everything back together. Thread chaser worked like a champ, going through the crank bolt. Clean that up, it plugged right in easy. Just waiting on the oil pan to get here still. Should be here in the next day or 2. I can throw some belts on it, and then I just gotta take it off the stand onto the suspension. Go ahead and hook up the flywheel, clutch, hook the transmission up, set the car back down on it, and then yeah, start figuring out this wiring. Coming together though. All right, been working on this thing some this morning. Got I think I've got everything knocked out on the engine. Intake's on it, everything's all plumbed up, got the steam port kit done. AC lines are ran, because those are like impossible to do once the cable mover is bolted to the car and the turbo kit's on. Got the whole turbo kit mounted, bolted up tight. That's like 1,000 times easier to do when it's off the car, I have to say. So getting everything lined up. Whenever the motor's in the car, you've got to leave like everything loose, headers, just get everything kind of mounted, and then try to get everything lined up. And I'm doing all this stuff by myself, so it is just a pain in the car. Here outside the car, I was able to, get the exhaust manifolds on, get each little pipe going, get everything on there, adjust it so all the flanges were like flat as could be, and I put RTV on everything, because last time I did this they all leaked, and so I'm trying to do it the right way this time, where nothing's going to leak. So everything's RTV'd up, all the B-bands are flush and tight. So yeah, I've got everything done, coil packs, everything. So I believe the motor is done. I'm gonna say I'm good with that. I am waiting on another thread chaser. This thread right here was mangled on the exhaust manifold, so I'm just gonna run a thread chaser in there, and then I'm waiting on the ARP flywheel bolts, and my pilot bearing will be here today. Hopefully I can, depending on what time that gets here, I gotta work tomorrow, so depending on what time that gets here, I'll try to mate the transmission up I got the transmission under the car in that tarp, but it's on another rolling cart like this, so hopefully I'll be able to just like roll them together and then roll all 3 of these carts up under the car after I lift the car up a little bit. And yeah, start to set the car down on everything, and hopefully the plan goes like it should. The motor is really low right now, like it's like just a few inches off the ground, so I'm not sure. I'm sure I'll be able to like drop the car down onto that, but I don't think everything's gonna line up just like it should as it's sitting right now. So I'll probably have to put some jacks up under there, jack the K member up, line things up. So yeah, I'm gonna have to find a friend for a weekend there to get this thing in here. But after I get the transmission bolted up to it, it's ready. So I think hopefully everything goes well. Should be yeah, a couple weeks, maybe like a month or something like that. I think I took a vacation in a month or 2, so I'll have it. I'm just coming out here, you know, an hour at a time and tinkering on it, and I'll have it knocked out here the next couple months for sure. But that's the update. Thanks. All right, been working on this this afternoon. Got the transmission first. Got the flywheel clutch pressure plate. It's already got the McLeod RXT clutch dual twin disc. So got that on there, lined up. Got this nice tool right here, a metal one that was like way better than the plastic ones, but helped a lot with getting it lined up. And then fought with this transmission by myself here. It's just the motor was at a weird angle. Transmission was a little taller than it. I've just been finagling, trying to move this stuff around to get it adjusted, but finally got it in there, situated. So that is done. So now I don't think there's like anything left holding me up from putting this in the car, except for the weather. This whole week, next week and a half is supposed to be storming. That's why I got the tarp over here. I got it all covered up, but yeah, that's kind of the update there. Hopefully we'll get this thing knocked out in the next few weeks. All right, if you like that, make sure to like and subscribe to check out more content of this build. Thanks, y'all.